This is Genesis 27 and 41. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob.
All right. We want to start this lesson off by giving all praises, glory, and honor to
Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Akakadash.
Double honors to the elders and the apostles of G.M.S, the great millstone who rule well, and peace, love, and salutations to the Bayafta Wadada house of David. All right, that's being risen up in these last days, okay? So the inspiration from this lesson is inspired me when I went into the gas station this morning. I've seen on the front page of the New York Post an article. All right, you had a Jewite lady, and an article read "Free to Hate," and this is from the Sunday's paper. They had it blown up as if it was, a big deal. And I read the first few, paragraphs, first few lines, I should say, of the newspaper clipping, and what came to my mind was, Amalekites' official declaration of war on the tribes. All right, and that's the title of this video, as you see. And this is what's happening. Okay, the first scripture the brother read out was out of the book of Genesis. Okay, and Genesis means the beginning. So when you understand what's being played out on the earth today, it's important to go back to the Genesis, the beginning of why these things are the way that they are. All right, and it all stems back to a blessing that was given to the nation of Israel, which was stripped from Esau, Edom. All right, Jacob, meaning the supplanter. All right, and Jacob in supplanting his brother out of the blessings that we receive are the blessings that they covet, the blessings that they want. All right, our attributes, our spirituality. All right, our the oracles that we possess, the knowledge that we have, being the Heavenly Father's chosen. As you can see, they coveted it so much that they stole our nationality. They stole our heritage. They stole our history and tried to equate them as us. You see, that's a narcissist. That's a sign of a psychopath, right? Everybody can have a biblical slaki. Nobody can have a biblical nationality. Only them. Well, all these great scholars and think tanks and geniuses on the planet, and historians. Nobody can trace anybody's biblical nationality. All these great schools, Harvard and Yale, these so-called prestige schools, but nobody could trace nobody's biblical nationality. But these so-called Jews, they can trace their biblical nationality. And now they want to paint us on the front page of the paper as if we're the face of hate, right? And it's a very clever tactic that Esau has used. Matter of fact, see, when you go back to the Genesis, you see the Lord referred to these people as the serpent, all right? Meaning, in the scriptures say that they were very subtle. Matter of fact, it's better just to get that scripture. All right, you're going to see that the tactics that they use is genius. They're very clever tactics to take the people who's being oppressed, all right, and to paint them as the oppressor, all right, to paint them, to take the people that's the victim and make them the predator so that you can be able to justify further making them the victim, victimizing them. Nobody won't come to their aid. Nobody won't feel sorry for this group of people that's being beat down in every which way.
This is Genesis 3 and 1. Now the serpent was more subtile than any beast of the field which the Lord Yahweh had made. And he said unto the woman, Yea, had the Most High said, Ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden.
Now the serpent, do you have the definition for subtile? All right, now understand that the serpent is a person, okay? If somebody does something, double crosses you, you may call him a weasel, which is an animal. You may call him a snake, a viper, a dog, a pig, but you're referring to a person. So it wasn't an actual snake, a literal snake. It was the spirit, all right, of Cain, the spirit of Esau, the spirit of the so-called white man.
All right, this is subtile. It says, especially of a change or distinction, so delicate or precise as to be difficult to analyze or describe.
You see? So he's very difficult to analyze he's very difficult to analyze because this is the devil that burn the front door, the front of your house down, and then kick in the back door and come save you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so whereas you're praising the man who's this savior, who's this deliverer, well, he's the one who set your house on fire. And a prime example is that is Cesare Borgia.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Whereas you have the majority of our people who actually worship, whom the world refers to as Jesus Christ, that actual image of Jesus Christ, they're actually worshiping the image of their oppressor. Okay, and this is mind trickery that Esau plays on our people.
Con, and I'm gonna jump down to the third definition because it goes right on what you're saying. It says making use of clever or indirect methods to achieve something. All right, so it's saying making use of clever and indirect methods. So that's showing you that they will put up the facade and showing with that facade, you know, they paint that picture, they paint that image and say that they're the chosen or they're the right ones and we're the wrong ones. You know, they're showing you that that's how subtle they are because they actually have the whole world believing that. You know, showing you that they are the deceiver as the Bible speaks of, which
Right.
goes back to the word diablos, which mean devil. You know.
Right.
Con.
And this is the reason why we call them the devil, because they are the great deceiver. They have the power to deceive the whole world through their witchcraft, their sorceries, all right, through their media. And as you see in the New York Post, and who owns the New York Post? These Khazars. These Khazars are the owners of the New York Post, so they have the power to persuade the minds of the people. Okay?
Yeah, so I'm gonna just go into reading this article. It says bail reform is setting suspects free after a string of anti-Semitic attacks. All right, and it reads Tiffany Harris.
So wait, let me stop you right there, Baba Kasha, because to be anti-Semitic, it should be Shemitic, but to be anti-Semitic, you would have to be against Shem, which if you're a so-called black man, you come out of the line of Shem, so it wouldn't make sense for us to be so-called anti-Shemitic. Where we are anti-wickedness. All right, we're anti lies. You know, we're against the lies. We're against the wickedness, and we're against you Amalekites. That's naturally, and as we're gonna bring out that's energy has been here from the beginning. Matter of fact, can you just read that in Revelation 3 and not Revelation, Genesis chapter 3 verse 16? Is that what it is? That enmity is that enmity that we have, that natural friction that we have is stated from, and this is the reason why the big war is between these two nations.
Con, this is Genesis. I'm gonna start at you said 3 and 16, right? It's 15 right here.
Yep.
All right, Con. This is Genesis 3 and 15. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel.
Now, if you could look up that word enmity,
Con.
right? So the scriptures say that the Lord was going to put enmity between the serpent seed and the woman's seed, which the woman was symbolic of the nation of Israel, and the serpent seed was symbolic of Esau, Edom, and his generation.
Con. It says enmity, the state or feeling of being actively opposed or hostile to someone or something. All right, and going into some of the synonyms, it's saying hostility, animosity. All right, it says friction.
There's hostility, there's animosity, there's friction between these two races of people. There always was and there always will be. Go ahead.
It says opposition, dissension, rivalry.
Opposition, rivalry. Go ahead.
Feud, conflict, discord, contention.
Feud, conflict, discord. Now read Amos chapter 1, verse 11, because this is something that cannot be healed. This is something that we can't march. We can't sit down at a peace summit. We can't have a town hall meeting and fix this. There's no reparations that can be paid out to amount to the bloodshed that's been already shed. Go ahead.
This is Amos 1 and 11.
Yep.
Thus said the Lord Yahweh, for 3 transgressions of Edom.
Now, transgression is a sin, right?
Mm-hmm.
A transgression of the law is a sin. So for murder, all right, for bribery, all right, for a theft, all right, for covetousness,
That's right.
all right, for stealing our nationality. That's identity theft, right? That's going to somebody's home and taking over. A home invasion crime carries life in prison. Okay, usury. All right, go ahead.
It says, thus said the Lord Yahweh, for 3 transgression of Edom, and for 4 I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because he did pursue his brother with the sword, and cast, Salaki, because he did pursue his brother with the sword, and did cast off all pity, and his anger did tear perpetually.
So they pursued us with the sword, and they cast off all pity. I mean, they didn't pity our people. You know, they care less about our people. All right, and they pursued us with the sword.
Khan, if I may mention too, hence why you have this article, showing that this is this is on the front page of the newspaper. All right, there's no pity, because if you go into it, what happened was the lady slapped 3 Khazars, women, and guess what? She made the front page. They're saying it's anti-Semitic, but this is something that happens daily on your everyday life.
Right.
You see Jake, you know
Right.
what I'm saying? People go back and forth and fight and argue, but it's not like she had any weapons and she stabbed anybody, anything like that. But showing you that there's
That's
no
a good
pity
point.
for our people.
That's a good point, because now you have, over 500 deaths in Chicago. You know what I'm saying? So where's the outrage about that? You're gonna see that these devils are. We see when Amalekites, when something happens in the Amalekite community, first thing they do is they'll meet in the synagogues. They'll talk about it. They'll call a town hall meeting, and in that town hall meeting, they're going to expect results from their their legislative officials. Right? They know that they put in these city councilors, these congressmen, these senators into office. They work for their constituents. And the first thing they're going to do is voice their concerns and issues to politicians on a federal level, and it'll reach into the ears of Donald Trump, and so much that he will make a statement condemning what's going on, or coming up with legislation to fix what they do. So these people actually have power, in which our power, only thing we could do is use our Bluetooth sources and talk to our Father, Yahweh. All right, through Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, hope that the heavenly angels revert that message. And this is our defense mechanism. Our weapons of warfare, they're not carnal, they're spiritual. But we go outside of this world to seek for protection. But people fight all the time. People get robbed all the time. Anything that happens to one of them, it's a hate crime or it's anti-Semitic. It can never just be an issue that happened in the street. Even amongst these that so-called shooting in New Jersey, who knows what could have happened between those two people? But when Jake does something, they want to link all of Jake to all these things, man. And it goes along with just what the scriptures say, what will be happening in these last days.
Hence why we're sighing and crying, as the brother said. We have that Bluetooth source, which is reaching out to Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, which why he said that he's going to have a wrath towards Esau Edom. All right, why he's gonna deal with them the way he's gonna deal with them, because there's a how can I say it? It's a advantage that they have above us that we can't even meet. You know what I'm saying? Right. So when something happens to them, they can go to the higher ups and it'll be taken care of. But anything that happened to our people, we're supposed to sit back and deal with it.
Right.
Right. But going back to the precept, I'm start back at 11 at the top. Amos 1 and 11. Thus said the Lord Yahweh, for 3 transgression of Edom, and for 4 I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because he did pursue his brother with the sword, and did cast off all pity, and his anger did tear perpetually, and he kept his wrath forever.
So the point of that was he's going to keep his wrath forever, and the Heavenly Father is the one that's going to do it. He's going to avenge us. All right, for what Esau Edom has done to us, man. You Amalekites, you guys are not the victims. All right. My question to you is, where were you at when around the time of the transatlantic slave trade? What role on the earth did you play? Were you not the merchant bankers? Was you not the elite? Did you not finance these things? What role did you play? All right. Where was All Lives Matter between 1619 to 1960 or 1965 or up until that time, right? Where were you guys? What have you done for us, man? What have you done for the nation of Israel? Nothing besides finance, death, and destruction from amongst our people, man. And sit back and watch our people kill and slaughter each other like they do. All right? You've done nothing. So you're going to pay for it. We're going to get avenged for what's been happening to us.
And that's why, these same Khazars, they got a military. They got a land that they can go back to, which is really our land. But, with them coveting and taking the land, but when you look at Jake really don't have no military. It's hard for Jake to even stand up for themselves. You know what I'm saying? So, but they paint them as the image of terrorism. All right, knowing that they lack the resources to make them a superpower. All right, but what's going to happen is that role is going to change. Hence why you said the scripture speaks on Jacob holding the heel of Esau. All right, because that power is gonna be translated. It's gonna be changed, and in no time. Hence why you have them putting this out there. All right, because they're scared.
That's right.
They're scared, and they can feel it.
That's right. That's right. Now it says it too. If you go back to Genesis, the 3rd chapter.
Mm-hmm. Genesis, the 3rd chapter. Yep. Which part?
Genesis chapter 3. Was it 16?
Yeah. This is 15 and 16.
Yep, 15.
Yeah, read it again. Genesis 3 and 15. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed, and it shall bruise the head, and they shall bruise his heel.
Now it says they shall bruise the head, and he shall bruise his heel. Now when you go to 2nd Ezra, the 6th chapter, in the 9th verse, it talks about it. And what does that mean? Meaning that one nation is going to take down the other nation. That's exactly what that means. One nation is going to take down the other nation. So when we talk about the end of the world, we're talking about the end of Esau, the age, the eon, the end of Esau ruling.
This is 2nd Ezra 6, and I'm just jump straight to the point. Verse 9, it says, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that follow it.
Go ahead.
All right. And it says, the hand of the man is betwixt the heel and the head, and the hand other questions Ezra's asked thou not.
So one nation was going to take down. So why is this Jewite woman on the front page of the New York Post as if she's this terrorist, bad woman that shouldn't be let go free, right? Get Revelations chapter 12, verse 12.
Revelation 12, all right. And it reads, therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he had but a short time.
Because they're starting their propaganda campaign on the children of Israel, because they're getting ready to come down on the children of Israel with great wrath. All right? Because they know this prophecy is coming to pass. All right? Amongst all the hate that's in the world, right? Amongst the news of Iran teaming up with China, teaming up with Russia, amongst the president of, the leader, I should say, of North Korea, making a statement that he's going to send America a nice gift, and Vladimir Putin making announcements of on new grade missile defense systems that they launched in amongst the Israeli settlement into places where the Palestinians were supposed to be dwelling, and bombings on Christmas Day, deaths throughout the world, shootings, all right, vaccinations. Who do they paint as the face of hate? You Jakes, you tribes. All right?
We continue on, or you want me to read this?
Yeah, you could. That's it on that.
All right,
Second it. Yeah, that's it on that.
All right, so I'm going to go into this next article and just read the headline. It says, Rockland County stabbing, Tom of Grafton identified as suspect. And this is going into that, those 5, Khazars that got stabbed up during their Hanukkah celebration, which I'm going to read into it a little bit. It says, the accused attacker of a group of Orthodox Jews during the Hanukkah celebration in Rockland County is Thomas Grafton, 37, according to police source. All right, it says, Grafton of Greenwood Lake, New York, was arrested in Harlem less than 2 hours after storming into a basement of a rabbi's house in Monsey and Hamlet about 30 minutes north of the city and stabbing 5 people. All right, and once again, you can see. That's what, man. They get, with this article, they're putting it out there with the image of it. They're just gonna continue to paint Jake to be the bad guys, the bully. But it's so much stuff that these Khazars are doing to people that's not being noticed. All right, that's going back to the point. What the brother mentioned earlier, like how it's things that happen on a daily. That's being done, but once it happens unto them, guess what? It's broadcast across the world, across the country, and it's deemed as what is anti-Semitic, but showing you, but nobody reports, nobody has nothing to say when they're the ones that's chasing people out of their houses, going back into what happened in Jersey because they gentrifying the area, and they're forcing people and knocking on their doors and threatening people to leave their house. How you think a person is going to react to that? When you back any animal, any beast into a corner, guess what? Only thing they could do is attack to get out. So that's now that Jake is starting to react the way that they are, guess what? They just go and put their foot even harder upon the necks. You know what I'm saying? Which shows that these people are just waiting. Not even this is a crafty decision, a crafty plan to bring down our people, to come down on our people.
Right.
All right, and it says CNN, which first named the suspect, reports that Grafton license plate was captured while coming over the George Washington Bridge in his Nissan Sentra around 11:45.
So I want to say this: it could never be just a Jake trying to rob a house, but I mean it has to be linked to terror, and it goes back to it has to be linked to just a whole nation of people attacking anti-Semitic and them attacking us. It can never just be. Anytime Esau does something, he's just a lone wolf. You know what I'm saying? There was no plot. There was no twist. There's no conspiracy. Just a lone nut, and they wash it away. But when we do something, everybody's to take the burnt of the crux, so to speak.
That just shows the hypocrisy of the wicked. All right, that just shows you the hypocrisy of the wicked. All right.
Yeah. So it says, let me see. Okay, so it says, the accused attacker was taken up to Rampo Police Headquarters around 4 p.m. He faces 5 counts of attempted murder and 1 count of burglary, according to the police chief. All right, Governor Andrew Cuomo called the attack an act of domestic terrorism Sunday morning and has vowed to make changes to the state law to strengthen prosecutors against such act. Now, this is an act of terrorism. But they refuse to call Edomite mass shooters terrorists, man. They just recently, because of the force of social media and alternative news network, has been getting on them saying, why aren't people called terrorists? But as soon as Jake tries to go rob a home and stabs the people in there, he don't even look like a Jake now that I'm looking at his face. Now that I'm looking at his hair and I'm looking at his face, This guy, I don't even think that guy's a Jake. So who knows, man? He may be Elam or a so-called Muslim, but hey, it is what it is, man. We don't have no sympathy for no goddamn Khazars that got stabbed the hell up. Any goddamn way.
This is quick precept. This is Isaiah 32:6. It says, "For the vile person will speak villainy, and his heart will work iniquity, to practice hypocrisy, and to utter error against the Lord."
Yeah, this is what they practice: hypocrisy and utter error against the Lord.
All right, to make empty the souls of the hungry, and he will cause the drink of the thirsty to fail. All right, so it's showing you, man. That's what they do, man. That's what the wicked is gonna do. It says, in his heart he will work iniquity. All right, and hence why you see that they're pushing this method, they're pushing this idea, they're pushing this anti-Semitic agenda. On a full-fledged scale, because this is what they're doing. This is their aim.
Right.
All right, their aim is to come down upon us having great wrath, but they need a reason, and this is them setting up their reasons, whether it's through false flags attacks, whether it's to them using the last little bit of their witchcraft that they got a hold of. That's how they're gonna do it. But guess what, man? We are not ignorant of Satan's devices.
Right.
We know everything that's coming by way of the scriptures, by way of Yahweh Shem Shah. And all we could do is prepare. But we see these things and we know that the Lord is uncovering Esau's secret parts. So
Yep. So Amalekites official declaration on you tribes. and it's the Judite woman. So they're letting you know that they're not discriminating against genders,
Mhm.
right? Male, female, young, old. All right. If you're a so-called Black, Native American, and Hispanic, you are the target. All right, of these guys who has an agenda. All right.
Kind of whether you're in the truth or you're not in the truth,
Absolutely.
you're still gonna be looked at with the same scope.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely. So you might as well take a covering of the Lord. If you're gonna get persecuted for something, you might as well get persecuted for being righteous,
That's
for
right.
standing up for your people, not being black or being a nigger or a spick or a wetback. All right. So with that, we want to give all praises, glory, and honor to
Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Makakadash.
Double honors to the elders. Peace, love, and salutations to the Bayaf Dawadah. To the next time we say Shalom.
Shalom.